This right here is just for documentation purposes. It's Friday afternoon, almost 3 o'clock, and y'all know what happens on my weekends. It is now AAU season. Act like you know. So I'm just surveying things. As a matter of fact, let's back up. Before we go out of town for a tournament, I have these cloches out here to protect some seedlings. These cloches are from the dollar store. I used them when I was starting seedlings indoors. They helped out a lot. But so I'm paying attention to that. Paying attention to bugs because I do have some damage. Like look at some of these holes. And you might be saying, why don't you remove that? Since the bugs have gotten to this one, I'm just going to leave it and let them have their way with that one so that I can eat off of the others. I'm going to be paying attention to all the seedlings and make sure that they are still doing well. When we come back, that cabbage back there, that purple cabbage is beautiful. We're watching that. Tomatoes, nothing. Seedlings should be coming up in this area shortly, so we'll see when we get back. And then over here, same thing. I had to replant cucumbers because something got to them. And over here, same. You see, I put a bell cloche over those so that nothing could get to them, the bugs, the birds, whatever has been eating my seeds. Or Lola, half the time it's Lola. But anyway, so this is documentation before we leave. We'll come back on Sunday and I'll show you what things are looking like then. Oh, let's not forget the container gardens. So again, these are just like some seedlings. So there's tomatillo, some more basil. There's nothing potted in this big pot right here, but just we're watching these things. I'm hoping that there will be no inclement weather. That down there is chocolate mint, same as you saw in the bed on the other side. And on this side, another Roma, some Scotch bonnets that I had to replant twice, re-sow twice because nothing was happening. And then my squashes that I had to re-sow again. And this time I'm only sowing 2 of each in the cups. Like I showed you before with the root training system. I still didn't have any sand, so I didn't use that. But those are my 4 different varieties of squashes that I'm growing. And then up here, the parsley, there in the back. The cilantro is bolting, and I want it to bolt because I want these seeds. And then some calendula that I really want to set out in the garden once these come up and are doing great. So, again, this is just, a picture of things on Friday. We'll check it out on Sunday when we get home and hope and pray for the very best. Have a great weekend, y'all. It's Monday morning and we're back. And I'm just now surveying the yard. I'm doing this on the fly, so you guys are seeing it as I see it. And already I see something that is very, very bizarre. But I'm going to start up here by the door because with the container gardens, I say container gardens, the containers. There's not really much to share over there. Everything pretty much looks the same, which is not a bad thing. Over here, things are looking pretty great, especially the squashes. All of them came up instead of one zucchini. And all of them have at least one true leaf. So I'm going to let those go a little while longer in styrofoam cups until they have probably 2 true sets of leaves. Up here, this right here, this is calendula. And these are the cotyledons. Those are not true leaves, but this little one here that's on all of them, that's a true leaf. Again, I'm gonna get, each one has 1 set of those already, so I'm gonna let those grow a little bit more. This right here, y'all, let me be honest with you, I don't know what that is, and I'm pretty sure it's not what I planted here. I planted parsley here. That's not parsley, but I'm gonna let it, all these little leaves came on just while we were gone. So I'm gonna let this grow and just see what that thing is. Or I'll probably Google it or something like that. But I just wanna see what it is. So nothing to share there. Except, let me just tell y'all this. If you've been around here for a while, you already know this about me. But if this is your first time here, you just found me, this is going to be new to you. I don't do a lot of container gardening and I don't have a lot of indoor plants because I love those things to death. Most things in containers, whether they're inside or outside, they perish because, like I said, I love them to death. I'm constantly fiddling with them, constantly messing with them, constantly watering them, constantly sticking my finger in to see if they need water. I don't over fertilize, but I do overwater. I now have maybe 3 or 4 plants inside the house that have survived. They're all pothos because that's the only thing I can keep alive. So the fact that these containers here on the patio are doing okay, I'm really, really proud of that. Now, what's out in the garden, that is a different story because God takes care of those. I don't have to water those. I don't have to do anything with them. That has nothing to do with me. All I do is sow the seeds and try to keep Lola out of the beds. So, here we go. Before we left, we already knew that we needed to come out here and harvest some things. Look at how big these collards are getting. They're so pretty, but I need to harvest those. Oh my goodness, you guys. This is calendula. This was not happening before we left. That is a bud. So nice. This was, or is, chamomile. And I did this overwintering method, and now I'm just waiting for them to get big enough for me to take out and transplant directly into the garden. That was cauliflower that I harvested last week, and hopefully we'll get to cook today. Baby broccolinis. All of this is doing really, really great. I don't have extra weeds. I love that. And again, growth. You see what happens when I'm not here? When I just leave things alone? That is a baby tomato. I probably need to pinch that off, actually. I think I want this to get a little bit bigger before it has to set fruit. I don't know. I'll decide on that today. This is my San Marzano tomato. It's looking really, really great. No extra bug damage. This one is a lot smaller, that San Marzano. I don't know what's going on with that one. Or these Camparis, but I'll get out here. The lettuces are dying. That's all that is. They don't survive in the summertime around here. Nothing going on over here. Nothing going on except that amaranth going out of control. I'm just going to let it. I'm going to let it bush out and just do what it does. Here's what I was saying was troubling. It's not really troubling. Mushrooms. Mushrooms. And here's another one. Mushrooms. This was my potato patch. It's pretty much, I've had to cut back a lot because I found a ton of worms. Like this right here is like worm damage. So I had to cut them back. I'll probably come out here and cut the rest of them back because they're just not doing too great right now. But what is doing great and looking so pretty are all these beans. Look, you guys. Look how pretty. These are purple beans. This one, that one over there. This one right here. I don't know if you can see in there. But those are all beans. I mean, I cannot stop looking at this. It's so pretty. Oh, purple is my favorite color. I just adore that. That's so pretty. Anyway, let's move on and go over to the other side of the garden. There's not quite as much to see over here. Again, harvesting. I need to come out here and get some of this Swiss chard out of here. Because if I don't get it, the bugs get it. And the bugs have been going pretty bananas on this Swiss chard. Yeah, so my goal today is going to be to get out here and get those out. Those and the collards out. Get them cleaned up and probably frozen. I should have put some bell cloches over here because I see some pest damage. This is a pea. Like all of this is pest damage. It's got to come out. So I'll come and clean that stuff up. It's a cucumber. This side needs some water. Pretty badly. Everything else is looking pretty good except the corn. The corn is struggling. I'm gonna have to come out here and resow the corn. This right here is empty. All of this is empty because the squashes go over in this bed. And like I said, it needs water. There's some seeds right here in this section. This is onions and shallots, but you see nothing's happening because it's super dry. It needs some water there. And what else? That's pretty much it. So all the prep that I did actually is serving me well. The little bell cloches to protect baby seedlings. These marigolds, I think I'm going to come out here and transplant maybe this baby right here and that baby over there. Because I need them in other areas of the yard, like probably over there with the chard to deter pests, and maybe all the way on the other end to deter pests. Anyway, I can sow some more seeds for that because marigold grows really, really well here. But I don't need all of these marigold plants in this bed, so I'm just going to transplant some and I will replant some seeds. But other than that, everything looks great. Some things do great when I leave it alone when I'm gone, and other things not so much. You know, the chard does well as well. It's just that I probably should have harvested that before we left, and it wouldn't have so much bug damage, because what we don't get to, the bug's going to get to. So once I clean that up, we'll be good to go there. So anyway, that's my quick little garden tour. Every time I go out of town, I have to do this just to make sure that everything stays nice and, you know, healthy. This time we didn't have too many problems. We were only gone for 2 days, but you know, a couple of little things I need to take care of. And that's it. So thank you for coming along this garden tour with me. And I'm so happy that everything worked out. Nothing, no bad weather. I didn't come out to things strewn all over the yard. And there's progress. Happy gardening, y'all. Bye.